least for me, it's morning. I don't know if it's morning for you or not, but yeah, it's morning. Let me see. Let me open this up. So I've got to start off. They just released a patch for ZBrush, so I'm going to check into that and make sure that we're good to go. I just downloaded the installer, so we'll go ahead and get that going. Should be cool. Allow it to make change to the device. Sure. But yeah, I figured I'd go ahead and at least get on so that we're ready to go. Deeper fact. That's a pretty cool username. Select the language for the installation, English. Bring this over here just so that it's not like boring. Accept the agreement. Next. ZBrush is already installed in a specific folder. Overwriting it may cause conflicts. So what I usually do is instead of going through and I'm just going to go ahead and say yes. In fact, maybe what we'll do, let's hit cancel. Let's hit cancel. What we'll do, what I usually do, is I'll come over here into the Pixelogic folder. I'll usually come over and actually grab this whole folder, and I'll just say delete. I didn't do that with 2020 because it seems to have like carried my preferences over, and that works. Let's go ahead. I'm going to hit delete out of the recycle bin too, so I don't have those extra 3,000 items just hanging out in my in my box. Now let's go ahead and we'll get that download or get that installer going. English. Accept. Alright. And here we get to see about to try out the 2021. Actually, I was part of the beta in 2021, so I'm pretty familiar with it. In fact, I might have one of my pieces show up in here in a minute. It wouldn't have been my first pick for pieces to have included in the scroll, but you know, they included my hands with the cloth. It's kind of fun. It looks like a clay sculpt. Let's see if it shows up here in a minute. It's like another 2 images, I think, after this one. There it is. Barely made it in there. My favorite image of things that I had done for for the beta. Let me see. I don't need to open ZBrush Live. I don't need to open the video tutorials. I don't need documentation, but I will open 2021. I'll go through and I'll show you what I do to be able to kind of start up fresh ZBrush if it starts up default. Oh, it already has all my defaults, it looks like. Yep, keyboard shortcuts and everything. So that's great. That is great. You've been following me. Been following since quite recently. I didn't know. Yeah, it's fun. It was a great. It was a great beta to participate in. Let me show you kind of a couple of things that I worked on. Let me see. Let's go to ArtStation because I have a few of the things on ArtStation, so that's pretty fun. Drag and drop to reorder channels. That's nice. Okay, I'll worry about that some other time. ArtStation, you're embarrassing me. Okay, there we go. Let's see. My profile. Okay. So I'll just go in here to all. So I did a few things. I've got like this this is the sculpt that was in the scroll of images for loading ZBrush. And used the cloth dynamics to kind of get this this cloth piece in the back, and then just sculpted the hands and used Pablo Munoz's clay brushes to kind of get that to feel like a clay sculpture piece. Okay, I was able to use the cloth dynamics to be able to create this this bag, and then I used the micro mesh or the micro poly. It used to be micro mesh, micro poly. They changed it to micro poly because there's already a micro mesh, and they didn't want it to be confusing. So I went ahead and used dynamics, and then I used the micro poly to be able to make an actual like mesh pattern on it. That was fun. With this one, I had already sculpted the bust, but I went ahead and I finished her out and kind of plussed the cloth in her skirt, so that way she feels more complete. She feels more, and then I used the new Z modeler tools to model out her her bloomers, her legs, her socks, and her shoes. The bows I kind of just borrowed from my Sailor Moon sculpt, but whatever. But yeah, so those are kind of some of the things that I did. Let me see. There are a few other things. This parade was awesome. I love this parade piece that I did. All sorts of things going in here. I've got the micro poly going in for all the building pieces. So I got different ones to be able to alternate the different window tiles and the different variations, versus some being open all the way, some partially open, or being open and no AC unit, or different AC units, things like that. Lots of fun. I really had a ton of fun with the beta. This cat, using dynamics to kind of settle the cat down, and then I just kind of did some cleanup sculpting afterward. So it worked really, really nicely. That's how it ended up. I was able to use the same dynamic stuff to be able to make this carton work. This carton, had to use like some of the dynamics to make it collide with an object to give it a little bit of a bend, and then you just turn that is it called stiffness or toughness? What was it called? I'm trying to remember now. And I've got the load Z tool. It's firmness. So it's not stiffness or toughness, it's firmness. You turn that firmness up, kind of adjust it to get the right feel for what you're looking for, and it works really nicely. Today, what I want to do is I want to finish this guy out. If you were here last week, you might have seen me go through and work a little bit on my samurai sword, which I've got the sheath and everything in here. I turn that off. Yeah, so I've got my blade, and then I've got everything else. Let's start turning this guy on. Get him ready for some sculpting adventure. So one of the things that I'm trying to, one of the ideas I'm trying to play with is what to do with his, let's turn this mask on too. What to do with the colors, because I kind of like the colors of that I have for his body. My voice. What's wrong with my voice? Something happening? Something wrong? Or is it not strong enough? Or is it too deep? It should hopefully be audible enough. I have that part cranked all the way up. And I've got a little bit of like a, it's doubling. Like there's an echo. Is anybody else? Okay, so there's no. I wonder, Sasquatch. I wonder if maybe you have some app open. Oh, it's all right now. I wonder maybe you had like another app open that had that had like mic access or something like that. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of tricky. It's kind of tricky. Hopefully it's all right. Okay. Cool. So far this is kind of what I've got. I'm still trying to think through different colors. So what I want to do, let's go ahead and let's play. Let's play some. Maybe what I'll do, let's turn off the arms just so we can see just the torso, because I'm only going to be able to adjust one at a time unless I merge things down, which I don't really want to do. In fact, let's take that, kind of rearrange that a little bit. All right. Let's go ahead and rename this Boti. You heard a lot of negative things about doing retopology in ZBrush. Oh my goodness. With the new update, do you think it's necessary to learn another software for it, or is ZBrush perfectly fine for now? ZBrush is actually really good for retopology, and there are a lot of different techniques of things that you can do to make sure that your topology ends up the way you need it. And especially now with the way that you have like the snap to surface functions inside of ZBrush, I don't know that I'll be doing much retopology in Maya or anything like that anymore. It is one of those things that'll still come down to personal preference and workflow and time restraints and things like that, because there may be a little bit of like maybe a learning curve or a habit curve or something like that, but it's one of those things that, you know, I quite like it. I think that it's nice, especially since you know, I typically don't have the money to afford an actual working license of Maya. I can use Maya because I have my educational license that I have because I'm an instructor. But yeah, this is kind of interesting. Learning Maya is definitely a good thing. Though if you can't get access to Maya, definitely try Blender or something like that because it's free. And you have a lot of the tools, and a lot of the principles are kind of what people are hoping for, that you learn and to be able to hire you on and get jobs and things like that. New to ZBrush, but should you do retopology if you are not going to rig? It depends on what you're going to do. I mean, for what I'm doing, I might not do a super clean topology job at first. Yeah, if you use the student version of Maya, yeah, definitely use it, because Maya's industry standard, and yeah, really like and the tools that you learn in Maya are all going to translate across to other disciplines and things like that. So it'll be good. Let's go ahead. Let's play with this a little bit. Say adjust colors. So this is one of the things that I really love about the newer versions of ZBrush. Is you can come in here and you can kind of adjust your colors. I want to kind of play around with this and see what it is that I can do. I want to see just by shifting it, like what happens. I kind of like where that's going, but I want it to be maybe more like right there. Oh, I didn't even pay attention to like what the value is. Negative. Here, let's see if we can copy this. Hit OK. And then we'll come down to the arms. And we'll go and do the same thing, adjust colors. Oh. Maybe something kind of like that. No, that wasn't quite right. What was it before? It was... Oh, no. Yeah, maybe what I'm just going to have to do, since everything's all separate anyway, I'll just go ahead and say merge down. I went ahead and set my keyboard shortcut to Control M, so that way I can adjust things or get to it quicker. But it's just underneath subtool merge, so it's pretty easy to get to. I think a blue oni feels cooler, although I'm not entirely sure. Let me see. Let's get these. Let's get this purple here. So what we can do, we can come into adjust colors again, and we can say, you know, color pick. We'll come over here to this purple. We'll turn our tolerance down. Okay, and then we can go ahead and just kind of adjust our hue. And we'll say okay to that. Okay, so that's enough for us to be able to get the color in there. And now we can just come in and we can say, you know, get our standard brush, change that over to RGB, make sure that we have the color picked. Oh, I didn't want that merged. Okay, there we go. Okay. And then I'm just going to kind of redo the paint. It's probably worth it to go through and just totally start over at this point, since yeah, let's just kind of start this section over. I'm just gonna paint that out, and then I got to figure out, you know, do I like these colors together? Does that make sense for what I'm trying to accomplish with this character? I think it's working all right. Right, let's have the gray kind of leak down the back some. Just kind of have that darker gray come in a little bit more. Let's go ahead and we'll give this a little bit more color. All right, let's see. Just kind of bring this copper color down a little bit, this bronze color a little bit further down. In fact, maybe we can just kind of pull this out onto the shoulders a little bit. Have it go down onto that upper arm some. It's all a matter of just kind of playing and experimenting at this stage, trying to figure out, because what I don't want, like the original colors, if you guys were if you followed along with the original progress and with the other version, let me pull back to the, let's get the version 3, because this will have, yeah, this has everything. So like you can see, like I'm trying to pull the original colors, like what I had when I had the This is the concept that I was basing it off of for the Draw This in Your Style for not Tim, sorry, TM Wilson, Tanner Wilson on Instagram. As you can see, like the colors are super super weird, which was kind of cool to me, and I wanted to be able to figure out a way to be able to pull the idea of the different patterns in a unique way without having it be flat colors. So that was kind of interesting. Do I play with the material, or is it the standard one? Yeah, so it's just a standard material. It's this basic material down here. Yeah, it's I went ahead and just chose the basic material and made that my startup material. I really like the way that works for sculpting because it gives you a pretty good sense of the volume. Some people will go through. You can take this. I think you can probably give it some specularity. Yeah, you can push up that specular highlight a little bit if you wanted to. But yeah, I mean something. Just the basic material works really well. Helps you to describe the forms, and be able to see and understand them. So yeah. I'm trying to go through and think if maybe I will. Let's see. Let's do. Oh, gotta turn off the spotlight sample. So whenever you load in a spotlight, like I did right here underneath texture, load spotlight or whatever, when you create something with spotlight, you have to go over to brush samples and turn off spotlight projection, or else it won't let you colorize your model at all, and that gets kind of irritating, but whatever. Say lovey. Oops. I'm just kind of trying and experimenting a little bit, see what this will look like. I think that this is too dark of a metal, and maybe if I wanted this to work, I think if I want this to work, I'm going to have a much lighter color to kind of contrast things against. And then I think maybe what I'll do here, let's do this. Maybe we'll leave the eyes dark, but we'll have to see. And then let's say Control H. I'm just going to color that whole thing gray. Let's see. Let's do this though. Maybe what we can do is we can give him like a little bit of a pattern. I did have something of a mock-up that I did, to be able to try to test some different ideas, and I really like this this idea that I tested. Yeah, let's see. Let's do this. I'm gonna say mask lasso. Let's pull this in here, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and pull in white, just so I can get a strong contrast between between this upper part and the lower part. And then I think maybe if I were to shoot, that's a little bit too much. Okay. Let's do something like this. I want to color the inside of the eye dark just so that it kind of helps to create that sense of contrast. It helps to, so I can see the eye a little bit better on the inside. Let's make this a little bit darker. Trying to decide if I'm liking it or not. I don't know if I am. Maybe it's just a matter of still needing to change some colors, but yeah, we'll figure it out. Yeah, let's be bold with this yellow. Color, fill object. In fact, maybe that's too bold. But we can still be pretty bold. Let's take it a little bit more orange. Color, fill object. Yeah, I'm kind of liking that. Let's take that hair. What do you think? White? Let's try white, and then we'll see kind of how it goes. In fact, let's go through. Let's split the hidden parts so we can kind of control things separately. Let's go ahead and pull this over. Say color, fill object, just for the sake of kind of getting it in there, being able to test it and see. I don't know that I like having the mask like super gray like that. So I think I'm going to try to bring in a little bit more color. So let's play with this a little bit. Make sure that I'm not getting the blue up onto the That's kind of cool. I wonder if I could do something with this to just kind of adding in like a little bit of a stripe or something in here. Let's see. I keep getting notifications. I just need to turn on the silent mode. It's kind of driving me nuts. Because like I can totally hear it when I listen to the recordings back, and everything is just like like what in the world? Let's see. Let's see if maybe we can go just a little bit darker through here to get something of a contrast between the gums and the actual face. Nah, I don't like that. That's interesting. I don't know. I might keep that for now. Getting some volume inconsistencies right here. You can see how it's like kind of warbly. Definitely want to smooth that out some, make it so that it's not so inconsistent. I mean, in the end, I mean, this mask is supposed to feel like it's been handcrafted, but it's not supposed to feel like it wasn't crafted, you know? Yeah, just kind of go through and fiddle with this a little bit. Fiddle a little. Alright, that looks much better.
That looks much better.
Okay, so far that's pretty cool. I don't know that I'll keep the hair that color, and I might even see about trying to change the way that the teeth are. I don't know. Maybe what we can do. Let's try this. I'm interested to see what this would be like with like a more metallic of a material. Not with that one though. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to change make sure that everything has the same material applied, and then I'm going to go ahead and kind of experiment with the Z metal and things like that. So I'm going to go down to the subtool master, go to fill and say material, and that should be good. And that should fill everything just fine, unless something is part masked, and then it'll kind of, skip out on something. Okay, so now, let me see, we have the eyes selected, right? We have the eyes selected. So let's go and let's say, so here's the Z metal, which works pretty well. I'm just trying to remember if that's my favorite one for this or not. Let's go color, fill object. Oh, that's not what I wanted. I wanted mRGB, not mRGB. I just wanted M. Ha. Color, fill object. Color, fill object. So that way we get some different metallic components on there. Let's try it with the nose too, because that's what I did with the yeah, I'm kind of liking that. I could go for that for now. It'll be something to play with, but it'll be, it could be fun. Let me see if there's a better material for the actual face mask. I know that we have various, plastics and things like that. We got the basic material, which we have applied right now, which may be what I end up keeping anyway. And I have materials that I've made in the past for, other types of plastic, which I don't know that I'd like to get out for this or not. In the end, I mean, I'm not trying to match that concept at all anyway. Not anymore. Right? So might as well just like just take this and make it something completely my own. Let's see, let's take this, maybe I want to see what this would look like. Yeah, kind of a goldish color. Yeah, it's kind of working. Maybe what I'll do is I'll also do the same thing up here. Color fill object. And that's looking kind of cool. Yeah, I think I'll keep that as it is for now. That's kind of interesting. But what I do want to do is I want to go ahead and create a little bit better contrast down here. So maybe what I'll do is I will grab, let's select his body. I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to change the stroke over to color spray. Take that color like as far down as I can without it being 0. And then I'm going to, yeah, it should be good. Okay, and then I'm going to switch my alpha over to something that feels kind of organic like this. Okay, alpha 8. Okay, so now as I go in and start to paint, you can see it's kind of breaking that up, and it's not giving me a straight color either. It's also going through and kind of breaking up the color variation a little bit. So that's a great way to be able to just add some fairly organic color with a very minimal amount of effort. I'm just going to kind of lightly brush in here toward the edge of where I'm working. Let's just kind of push it down a little bit. And I don't know, maybe this back color stays kind of more along the back of the head and whatnot. We'll have to see. We shall see. All right, let's kind of pull that in. Okay, so that's looking much more organic. Thanks, Mike. Yeah, that was a lot of fun to play with. I think I played with those last week. I mean, they're super exaggerated, and they're only kind of based in reality. Here's my my reference. It's the 3D Total maquettes, the Equerche maquettes with half muscle or half muscle exposure and half skin, I guess. I have the male and the female, and they're very helpful to me. Even just looking and kind of varying between, like looking at them in tandem, if you will, helps to see just kind of how the muscles work in different body types, and so how that applies kind of in the broader sense to a male or a female character. It's just helpful. Really enjoy those models. So big plug for 3D Total. They should sponsor me. No, I'm just kidding. Free advertising. Okay, let's see. Okay, I'm liking that. Just gonna kind of pull this in a little bit, get a little bit darker. Okay. Maybe let's do like this deep blue or something. It's kind of different depending on what kind of skin type you're working with. Might be a little bit too much. Just gonna pull it out some. That'll be better. I'm trying to practice my anatomy recently. I'm improving a bit. My mistakes are invisible to my eye. Yeah, that gets really hard. Because I mean, like, I know that these things are like they're definitely not anatomically correct. I know if I were to ask somebody like Raphael Grassetti or I guess any of the great anatomy sculptors that I follow, Eric Sosa. But Eric is always very good at pointing out. He's not critical. But he's very good about telling me when my stuff is not as good as I wish that it was, or that I think that it is, or that things like that. So it's just kind of funny. Are those seriously the same polygroup? W, get that to be its own thing. Let it be its own entity. There we go. Now we're good. Okay, let's turn off RGB. Oh, and I don't want RGB on the smooth either. Let's see. So right now I'm just trying to play with some of the forms here on this on these muscles. For some reason I feel like it's super dense. It is super dense, but it feels like it's worse than it actually is. Okay, let's do something like that. Kind of emphasize that a little bit. Yeah, I think like the big idea with projects, and something I need to do more lately is actually reach out to friends that you have in the industry, people that you respect, and people that you can trust, and ask for feedback. It's important to from the standpoint of networking, to be constantly reaching out and stay connected with people that it's kind of breaking up that flow right there a little bit. But yeah, definitely important to be reaching out and to be networking in that sort of way. Call that good for now. I mean, from different angles, you'll notice different mistakes. And it's funny because it's like sometimes you'll make mistakes and it just, you don't respect anyone. Well, it shows. No. Poor guy. Nah. Yeah, just find people that you get on with, get on well with. Yeah, I'm definitely not very keen on this yet. And it's like some of my top mentors I got because I took a chance and just kind of reached out, and yeah, it ended up pretty well. I mean, I've gotten it's great for professional relationships. It's great for getting jobs. Okay. Okay, let me see. I'm going to save this as is. I might come back to this version later because I kind of like how this looks, and maybe what I'll do, here's what I'll do. I'll go ahead, I'll take an image, say document, export, and then we'll say change that to 4, so that way it's got, you know, a snapshot essentially of what the file is. Technically there's also a format that you can use now to be able to save out, I think, PNGs and GIFs, and that's kind of cool. I don't use that because I don't know how. I mean, I haven't experimented with it as much, but I do know that it works. I just don't know to what extent it works, so I haven't really played with it. Just watched a stream where the dude was rating theme songs and looking at shows, something I'm passionate about, and how I got into animation. That's kind of interesting. So were they essentially they're just looking at it and saying, "Oh, this is great. I give it a 5 out of 7," or like what was the rating system like? How did that work? Out of 10. Okay. Let me see, make sure that that's saved, and then let's go ahead. I'm going to save to version 5. Let's start playing with this. How original the song was. Yeah, okay, I can see that. Let's see, poly paint, we're going to say adjust this hue. Is there an invert? Is there like an invert colors? Hide colors, hide material, restore, reset, from tint. Make a tint. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Oh, that gets interesting. Ooh, okay. Okay, I'm digging that. I don't know that I like the green. We'll get rid of the green. But I love that that orange and yellow up top. Okay, that's pretty slick. That's pretty slick. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's go back to adjust colors. Now I'm just gonna mask out that green. I'm gonna say, you know, give it a little bit more of a tolerance, give it a bit of a blur. Okay, give it a lot of a blur. Actually, let's bring that tolerance back down just a smidge. Okay, so this green, say okay, Control H. I think that what I want to do is I kind of want to continue this color down, but I want to make it somewhere kind of like less saturated. Oops. It's not healthy when your abs do that. And let's kind of pull this along. We're just gonna replace this greenish color, this bogey green, with this cream color. I feel like that'll be more appealing and it'll take us closer to, I think, to something that'll work for us in the long run. So let's pull that, and then let's actually go ahead and kind of continue this color down the back like so. Let's kind of figure this out. Let's go ahead and kind of average out some of these colors. Continue that orange down some. Yeah, yeah. And I'm just going to kind of pull these this tan color up a little bit further. I think that that'll help to make it feel like a more natural transition. So I'm just going to kind of pull this up onto the chest and maybe up into the center a little bit. Yeah, I'm liking this. Because then I can go ahead and I can use like cooler colors on the clothing, and that'll hopefully complement this pretty well. I mean, we'll have to play with it some, obviously, but it's gonna be sick. It's gonna be so cool. Let me see. Any previous history things, like how Gummy Bears was one of the first good original Disney stuff. I'm not sure what Gummy Bears you'd be referring to, but I love Gummy Bears. And it's probably one of my favorite snacks. Let me see. I definitely want to go ahead and pull this this tan color up into the face. I think that the yellow is a little bit much. Interesting that wasn't working. Okay, let's pull that up. I'm still trying to decide whether or not to actually give him like a legitimate face. I kind of like the way that he is without it. It's the face that not even a mother could love, I guess. Yeah, but it's yeah, I'm just trying to figure out exactly what it is that I would like to see done with this. So far this is definitely a step in the right direction. I love those colors. That's going to work really, really well. Let's kind of pull that. Oh, shoot. And then we'll just kind of pull this in, make it small, and then we'll color that in. And then to be able to unify it, pick our base color again, and just lightly go over it, because it doesn't need to stand out super harsh. Adventure. Oh, okay, I think I know what you're talking about. I did see that. That is from a long time ago. Well, yeah. What you like about art is how much work it takes to be. Yeah, how much work it takes to be anything. How to make something simple as whole cartoon. Yeah, it's really kind of crazy. You know, they can only make oneself sad about how they aren't immediately on the pro level. I just feel that it's what makes me love art, because I can look back and look at my hardships and brag about how good it was. Yeah. It gets I dare say it gets better, but not before it can get way, way worse. So it's definitely a tricky thing to keep yourself optimistic for. In fact, let's go ahead. Let's just color that in like that. That'll be easy enough. And then I want to split unmasked, s'il vous plaît. Actually, let's take this and make it darker, maybe more saturated. It'll add a little bit of contrast, a little bit of interest between the two parts. It might even need to be more. Like push that. There we go. Real dark. Cool. Yeah. Okay. This is starting to get exciting for me. It took X amount of years to be this good, and it was worth it. Yeah. It's oh man. Well, and it's funny too to go back and just kind of look at even fairly recent um, things. I mean, I guess I could even just go back to my art station and look at things that I've done fairly recently-ish, not even like super super long ago. You check out portraits. Yeah, yeah. This one's from 4 years ago. Actually, it's probably from a little bit longer than that ago. But this is one that I did of my wife and I as a gift for her birthday or for her anniversary or something like that. Um, oh, it's in honor of the first day we met. So this is from a long time ago, but yeah, she liked it. And it's one of those things that I look at this and it's like I would do something totally different now than I did back then. And I did, if we look at family portrait, what I did of us, there's some similarities, but the structures are um, much stronger, and the characters' faces are more appealing, and shape language is stronger, things like that. Yeah, Mike, the baby Groot that I printed. Yeah, yeah, that was fun. That was a fun one. Let's see. I actually don't remember your last name. Can I find you on here like this? No. Baby Groot. See if you show up here like this. What's your last name, Mike? I can't remember, dude. Oh, I found you. Never mind. Schaefer. Yeah, that's the one that Mike is talking about over on Twitch. It's super fun. I really like the way that turned out. Totally nailed the shape language. And it printed out really well. Do you have images of that up here too? Yeah, there we go. In fact, that's over in my backyard. So yeah, it printed out really, really nicely. And there he is all painted. So, turned out even better after he'd been painted. Super, super cool. So yeah, if you want to go ahead and find that, this is the link in case you're interested, and you should be interested. So yeah, we'll go ahead and I'll leave that right there. Yeah, let me see. Okay, so far this is working. I think what if I were to do like carry some of the colors from up here down into the belt and sash. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these pants. I'm just going to say color fill object so that they've got that dark blue in there, and I think that's looking real slick. I might even leave the rope color and the waistband color the same for now. I may even leave the shoes and the tights the way that they are for right now. Um, yeah. Okay. So this is starting to work for me. This is starting to feel cool. I might actually go ahead and so you think making the rope belt the same color as the mask might help tie it together? Oh, yeah. Yeah, so like keeping it that color to kind of like keep the warm yellows kind of echoing throughout. And I'm hoping to go through also and add some sort of like like piping trim on the shoes to, again, kind of echo that color down, and possibly, okay, so here's kind of my something that I've been researching for this project. Oh, well, thanks for showing up, Peter, and it's good to have seen you, and thanks for having fun with us. Hey, Prashan, how you doing? How you doing? Prashan's one of my friends from over on Patreon, so yeah, thanks for showing up. I know it's hard to hear me. It's hard to hear me. It's funny because like it seems like you've got that same complaint every time you get on. I wonder if there's something wrong. Because I mean I've got my stuff up as loud as I can get it. Um, and I'm not getting the same comments from anybody else. So I'm not sure how to help you, Dark Snakes. Hey Jan, how you doing? How you doing? So I've gone through and I've started doing a lot of color changes on this guy, and I am really really liking where it's going. Oh, I want to try this. I want to try something. Maybe get it so that it's got like a, oops, like darker hair, but maybe it's like it's not completely dark. It's like kind of going dark. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure what to tell you, Snakes. Um, I'm not sure what to tell you. Let's see. Try changing over to Twitch. Maybe if you change over to Twitch, you might be able to hear better. Twitch.tv/Smaartist. That way you can get a link there in case you're interested. Um, but yeah, try that out. If that doesn't help, I'm not sure. I'm not sure really what to tell you. Um, Everybody else seems to be able to hear just fine. So hopefully this works. Cause that's no fun. It's absolutely no fun when you're trying to watch something and you just can't hear it. I totally get it. I absolutely get it, and it can be frustrating. Oh, okay. So what I was about to talk about. So with some of the patterns that I want to kind of include on this guy, I want to be able to put some sort of like gold flake pattern on his body and on his pants. And I'm kind of going through and studying some of these. Let's see. Let's get over into here. Some of these sorts of patterns. Check this out. Like these geometric. If it decides to actually open, come on. Come on. I know you want to open it. Okay, these sorts of things. And I might go through and actually develop some of these patterns over um in what's it called? In Substance Designer. It's been a while since I've opened it up, so I might have to go through and kind of do a little crash course on how to run tiles and things like that again. When it's been a while, you kind of forget things. But yeah, so different tiled patterns like this, different geometric. Let's see, something interesting. Yeah, like an embossed gold leaf where it's like something that's like stuck to his body, kind of like. Oh, what's that artist's name? Oh, I don't even know if I have it on here on Instagram or not. Let me see if I can find it because the artist that I'm thinking about creates absolutely stunning work, and then they go through and they do these collaborations. Let's open up favorites, and then there's brilliant sculpting. 'Cause I know for sure I've seen them on here. I see them more on Instagram. So yeah, not on this folder. Ah, man, I love ArtStation, guys. I love ArtStation. This person. Okay, so I mean they're from Istanbul, so I have no idea. Like I don't know any of like the names. And let's go ahead like this and add this to my collection so I can find it later. Brilliant sculpting. Hold on, I want to add it to more things. Favorites. This way I can go ahead and get to it more later. But I love the exploration that the texturing and rendering was done by Simon Gomez, by Simon. So yeah, kind of like that embossed kind of gold leaf sort of look. But I wanted to actually feel like little gold leaf flakes that have been kind of painted on there instead of something that's just kind of that have been applied rather than something that's like a gold paint that's been painted on. It still looks super cool. It's absolutely stunning. But yeah, I really want to go ahead and play with that sort of idea. Yeah, super, super cool. This is like probably my biggest addiction lately. The De La Rosa. Captain Disillusion. Is that Simon's handle? I'm not sure what a Captain Dissolution is. Is that kind of what his handle is? Because yeah, I mean it's absolutely phenomenal. It's super super well done. I'll like it over here on his page too, just to just to make sure that they get the like as well. That's funny. Okay, so 2,000 likes here on the texture artist page. This is something that always kind of intrigues me. This one has less, and this is the original artist, which is kind of interesting. So yeah, those sorts of things. One of the things that's really neat though, in the very least, is that it's tagged here. So that's kind of sorry, this is the wrong thing. I was just kind of interested in checking it out. Um, but yeah, in the very least, it's tagged, and so people can kind of bridge between the different artists, and it's nice. I like that about ArtStation. I like that about Instagram and. Other places too. But yeah, so what I'm thinking is something like this, but with geometric patterns. So like I would get, and I liked. Here's another pattern that I liked. I want to show you a specific one, and probably not that one, although that's kind of similar, I guess. Well, maybe it's kind of like marrying a couple of different ideas. So yeah, it'll be kind of like bringing in this sort of idea, where it's like it has the pattern, and then it has it. You kind of get smaller pieces as you get further up. Um, then you almost get like this scatter sort of effect, and I really like that. And I kind of want to get that sort of that sort of pattern kind of going in for the gold color. Captain Disillusion is. Oh, he's the one that does. Like, he goes through and shows, like it's a painted face, right? And he goes through and talks about like bad VFX and things like that. I think I know who you're talking about now. the other thing I meant to... Where is it that I had it? I can't remember. I had found it and then I forgot. But there was this other artist that I had found. Maybe I'll go into Pinterest because this might be where I have it at. Boards. Character design. So there's this, there was an ArtStation challenge. A couple of years back that I participated in. That was Feudal Japan. And one of the pieces that was entered for the character design side was this really cool I feel like I have to have passed it by now, but maybe not. I don't know. But it's this really cool kind of samurai girl, I guess, and she had like this big drum on her back, or a barrel or a pot or something. It was something like that, some sort of that sort of shape. I can't remember exactly in my head right now, but I do know that it can't have been this far back. Let me see. I want to find this because this is something that's been bothering me. Let's go check out ZBrush, see if it's in here. Oh, I forgot that I had these. It's kind of nice. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna find it. Dang it. Oh, you see, like here's an example that I found of somebody who'd gone through and done sort of like a katana wrap sort of model, and this isn't done in ZBrush, but it was cool and it works. I think I might have actually done it a little bit wrong, but whatever. It gets the look. Let me see. Shoot. Yeah, I'm not sure how I would need to go about looking for it, because it's obviously not showing up for me. What collection is this? This is favorites. Character design. I know you guys might be getting bored of like watching me fumble through folders trying to look for something specific, but I feel the need to look for this character. And I know that she'd stand out too if I saw her. It's just one of those things where it's like, ArtStation, guys. Here she is. This is the character that I was thinking of, and I think she's like a little bit too over the top, maybe, for what it is that I'm hoping to try to achieve. Yeah, there's definitely like way too many different ideas going on in here with the clothing than what I thought I was remembering. So never mind, all that time wasted. I'm sorry. However, we can go through, and I think it could be worthwhile. Let's grab the topology brush. And I'm just going to, one of the things that I do like about some of these characters is like the wraps that they have. Let's go through, do something like this, this, and then we'll connect that. And then let's connect down low too. Oops, that one missed. Let's connect it right there. Not a big deal. Draw this over. I may, yeah, let's connect that through. And then let's kind of pull this so that we can finish that out. Let's pull that over. In fact, maybe what we'll do, so I want this to be filled in. I don't need it to be filled in yet. Let's get that there. It's just for placement. And then all this we can fill in here in a minute as well. So here's what we're going to do. Okay, so this is just blocking in main points on our topology. Okay, I'm going to go ahead, let's commit it. In fact, let's, instead of committing it, let's commit it with a little bit of thickness just so we can get it kind of offset from the body a little bit. I'm going to come over here, I'm going to say split unmasked. And let's bring this below the hair, but above the pants. This is going to be our, I don't know, I'm just going to call it shirt because because that works for me. Let's get rid of and say delete polygroup all. Okay, so now we should be left with single-sided geometry that's partially sticking out. We're good, we're good, we're good. All right. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna add a split in right here. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to change my move brush, or my move point action to have snap to surface turned on. I'm also going to change my edge action to extrude. I'm also going to turn on snap to surface. So that way, those two things together, we should be able to get a lot of things done. Okay, so we're gonna do that and we should be good. Okay, so I'm going to, here's the other trick for going through and kind of working on topology, is using dynamic mode. You just take your smooth all the way down to 0 and turn thickness on a little bit, you know, so that you can see your mesh. What's interesting about this is that it's not going to go through and actually give you dimensionality to your mesh. It's just giving you the appearance of thickness. So it becomes really, really helpful for you to actually be able to see what you're doing. Give me that marzipan. Okay. So here's what we're going to want. Actually, I need to insert a single edge loop here. I need to insert a single edge loop here too. Just because I'm going to need to bridge these different pieces together. Okay, I want to turn off the lower body pieces. In fact, let's get these so that they're in a better order. Call these socks or something. I'm going to call these boots, and then we'll have the boot sleeves. Okay, and then we can turn off the waistband stuff too. Okay, let's get back up to the shirt. All right, let's do this. Cool. So now you can see it's snapping to the surface, and this is super, super helpful to me. So I'm just going to go through and kind of make sure that these points are in there, that we're good to go. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and move these points closer. Just so we can really focus on. Let's get these top points to like the high point on this shoulder. Okay, and then we'll get this to be something up here, up along the collarbone area ish, but higher up. Okay. So here we go. Oh, let's get these lower points down too, so that they're tacked down and in relation to the body. If you make your brush big, it should go through and do your other points as well, like whatever's within that brush radius. So that's pretty nice. Come here, you. All right. Cool. One of the tricky things, something that you want to be really careful of, is that when you're doing stuff like this, you if your points touch each other, they weld together, and so it's both helpful and somewhat nerve-wracking too if you're trying to keep things separate to be able to work on them and whatnot. You know, if things snap together when you don't want it to, it's just like Okay, so let's go ahead and snap that to the surface. Oops, not that. There we go. There we go. I'll leave that one alone for now, but let's pull this out so that it's got a little bit better of a flow. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Let's go ahead and change it back to extrude. Single edge is fine. We're just going to extrude it out. And I'm going to bring this one up. You can see it, you can see it snap. So just pull it up and snaps together. And I can pull this one up and snaps together. So what's nice, and what I want to do at this sort of stage, is this point is going to become kind of my my transition point. It's going to be a point where there is a change in flow. So right down here, I'm going to have these points go straight down, and over here, let's go ahead, we can do this. So I've got these 2 points that I need to pull out. If I just tap, not shift, sorry, alt, that'll give me the whole edge loop. You can also go through and just change it in your menu, you know, change between edge and edge loop. But yeah, so this is kind of the difference. So you get your edge and poly loop, which will go through and do, in fact, I'm not sure entirely what will happen if I use edge poly loop. Interesting. I don't know that I can see how that would be helpful yet, but it's kind of interesting to know that that's something that you can do. So yeah, I'll go ahead and we'll play with this for right now. In fact, I might even want to take this transition point and move it elsewhere. Move it like a little bit lower down. One of the things I want to try to be careful of, let's just go ahead and pull this out and do this. One of the things I'm trying to be careful of is that when I create transitions, I want to make sure that my polygons are not getting too stretched out, like too thrown out of whack, because if they do, then it just makes it harder to work with. So yeah, just trying to come in here, place my polygons in a way that makes sense. You can see solo, so we can see this is kind of what our mesh will look like. Let me see, it looks like we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 edges coming in, which is too many. I guess it's because we have kind of the intersection of 3, so maybe it's just a matter of going through and we need to, not a polygroup all, let's do delete single poly. So maybe what we need to do is just have this point, so that way it's a 5-pointed star. And then we could let's insert a single edge loop in here and connect that. I mean, that's not creating a nice edge flow right here, but we'll go ahead and we'll extend down so we can have a good edge flow and have that 5-pointed star off of the edge. So let's do that. Let's make sure that this is on the surface. Oops. If you find that any of your topology functions are giving you issues, it's easy enough to just go through and turn off certain functions, certain components. So if my delete a poly is getting out of hand, I can just come over and just say do nothing. I am in charge of this ship. I am the captain. Ooh. There we go. Hello. Okay, so we just want to go ahead and do something similar on the back. Here's what I want to do. I'll worry about that in a minute, I guess. Or I guess I don't really have to, but we'll do it anyway. In a minute, I'll go ahead and say extrude, and we'll just pull this down. Oops. Okay, just kind of pull this around. Not that, please. Thank you. Okay, so same thing. I want to kind of continue my flows the same ways that I'm doing here. So I'll have the bottom row kind of come out to the side. I'll have the bottom row come out to the side, but then I'll have the top row go up and over, top row go up and over. Okay, so we're going to have the same thing, top row coming up and over. And, bear in mind, I should probably go and get reference. Let's do something with reference. It might be helpful. Traditional Japanese samurai clothing. Because I know that one of the things that I have seen, and it might not be something that is traditional, but it might be something that's just kind of loosely based off of. Ooh, I like that though. I might go through and do something. I might change out my ropes for something more like this, but we'll have to see. But I know that I've seen something done where it's like it's kind of half the kimono, like half the. Oh, what was it in? It was in. Oh, this is so cool. Yeah, I love these historical photos. I mean, look at him. He's totally there, and he's present, and he's ready to go. I need to sit up. Oof. So maybe what I do, I don't know how to look it up. How to look up what it is that I'm looking for. Let's try being kind of let's be a little bit more vague and open-minded about our search here. Let me see. I think it might be better just to kind of keep things grounded in this. Let me see, because okay, so a few of the things that I see that I like. I mean, this is super cool, and it's super like grounded in paintings and things that we, historical images that we have. This is kind of cool, although the poor guys look like they've been fighting for weeks and haven't seen a night's rest. I might have to look this up. This looks like it'd be pretty cool. Does anyone know what movie that is? That's a pretty cool one. Cool image. I want to do. I want to do something that's kind of like a half kimono. Okay, so instead of hooking so that it goes down over that side, I want it to go and just kind of end in the belt. So let's do this. I'm going to turn my delete single poly back on. Let's go delete island. Okay. And then we'll just go ahead and we'll use extrude and kind of pull things out. Eventually we'll have to go through and just kind of accommodate or like comfy these points out a little bit so that they're nice and even. For right now, we're just going to kind of roughly place everything so that it sort of does what we want. So yeah, topology stuff inside of ZBrush is awesome. Now that we have this function, it's somebody was talking about it earlier. Somebody was asking about it. It's a game changer for me because it does allow me to build things out really, really quickly, and it gives me the flexibility to like design on the fly and things like that too. It makes my process, my workflow a lot faster. Okay, so now that I have this whole bottom loop done, I'm going to go ahead and pull that out, tap Alt to bring out the whole loop. Looks like it only brought out part of it. Oh well, we'll bring out the back part here in a minute. It's fine, we're fine. Just for the sake of merging those together. And I'm just going to go ahead and just use my move brush now and kind of pull this around, pull it out maybe a little bit so that we can see even a little bit better. And keep in mind, yeah, it does look like it has thickness, but it's not actually a thick piece of geometry. It's a dynamic mesh. It has the dynamic subdivision preview turned on, so that's what we're seeing. Super helpful. It kind of helps put you in the mindset early on of, oh yeah, this is going to be a thick mesh with actual volume, instead of being stuck in the mindset of what is this going to look like when it's done, you know. It gets you a lot closer to that final look with less, without having to actually commit to thickness yet. Oh, yeah, let's turn on waistbands, pants, socks, boots, sleeves, boots. Ooh. Okay, I just had an idea. And it drives me nuts that I get these ideas. But I don't know if I want to do that or not. Well, first off, I need to make sure that this is kind of baggier. thinking about trying to incorporate some sort of sash that kind of goes and drapes over the shoulder or something. But yeah, I don't know. Trying to figure out if that's something that I would like to have there. It's gonna kind of pull this up some. Let's clean up the shapes here. I do want to make sure that I'm getting the right shapes. At this point, since the topology is so low, it's really, really easy to control, and I like that. I like that. I'm just going to kind of try to model it as if it's a dynamic piece of cloth. I probably won't rely on cloth dynamics for this piece, or probably even for this whole brush. Probably, or this whole brush, this whole project, because I kind of just want to control it differently. I want to be able, yeah, I mean, they're just, I think I have kind of like a simpler aesthetic that I want to treat to. I don't want this to be that material. I want this to be this material. And let's put it as a white. Or whiter, at least. Let's try white. Let's see what that's like. Color, fill object. It's a bit much. Let's change to something like this. Color, fill object. No, not the purple. I don't know. I'll leave that for now. I'll have to see. Okay, let me see. Okay, it's driving me nuts that there's all sorts of crease geometry here. Let's say uncrease all, just because we don't need it. Okay. Pull this up a little bit. things need to line up nicely and create nice flow, or else you get weird geometry. Weird shapes, weird artifacts. Weird. Okay, so I recently gave Gravity Falls a try. I didn't like it. You know what? I think I want to change this so that this is the 5-pointed star and kind of goes out. Maybe. Let's say slide. Let's go ahead, insert single edge loop. Say bridge edges. Okay, delete that. Insert bridge, which I think this might work out better for me. What the reason I'm trying to go through and change the placement of this is that I feel like up here it was a little bit too front and center. So by moving it to where I moved it to, I feel like I'm helping it to be less of a distraction when it comes time for posing or animation, if it were ever to come to that. Yeah, it's kind of undynamicify it. Just trying to even out the topology a little bit through here, and that should help the shapes feel consistent and deliberate, instead of getting weird pinching in places. And I'm trying to keep these edges about the same length. That's how I try to judge that. I try not to judge based on what else I see around it, because sometimes it's harder to judge edges that should be thinner versus edges that are a little bit wider. Or narrow versus wide, I guess, is kind of more the comparison. But it's anyway. It's funny. It seems like at a time, I probably get no more than maybe 10 people on the stream watching. And one of the things that I was thinking, well, it might have something to do with the timing and whatnot, but when I stream for Pixelogic, I get hundreds of people tuning in at a time. So it's kind of interesting to see the differences. Of course, like it's advertised much more heavily with Pixelogic, and people kind of expect Pixelogic streams, and they understand that there's a schedule, and they understand that it's endorsed and whatever. But so things that I'm trying to learn and figure out for myself in order to, I think it's fun having friends, people to chat with and whatnot while I'm working. And so it's nice having people around while I'm streaming. But at the so some of the differences of things that I am noting is the use of, I guess, notifications and things like that. The subscriber base, where they've got, hundreds of thousands of subscribers. I've got 10,000 on Instagram. Almost 11. And just kind of seeing things that maybe I could do a little bit better. But yeah, just to be able to have more friends on here, more people to chat with, or more people to share with. This